Welcome back, everybody. Today is October 8th of 2019, and this is episode 10 of What Is On My Desk. So we're a little late this month. Things have been busy. Personal life, the family, everything's going well, but it's busy. Kids are getting older. A little bit tougher to take. I mean, it's easier to take care of them, but it's tougher to take care of them now. They're mobile, so you got to stay on top of them all the time. So between, other things with the family, I haven't had a lot of free time. And work is very busy. We've got hockey season back, so we've got all those charters going on at work. And it is election season here in Canada, so we've been doing a few of those political charters. So that keeps things busy. Being the nation's capital, we tend to see a disproportionate number of those charters as they come in and out with the media exchanges and home base and the debates, especially this week with the debates and whatnot. So things have been busy, have not had a lot of time at the desk, have not had a lot of time with the videos. As I said, this is almost a week behind schedule, and I have gotten nothing, absolutely nothing done with anything else. I got the Michigan Airshow done, and that's it. I still have raw video from London. I've got raw video from both shows here in Gatineau. My website I've been keeping up a little bit on, but that doesn't take quite as much effort as editing videos. So hopefully we get those out soon. I still have the last three models I was working on. The two Focke-Wulf 190s, the A, the D9, and the HE162 videos done. I gotta do the TA152 video still. Once I get that done, I'll get those four loaded up onto YouTube. And I also have the script. I think I mentioned this before. I might have mentioned it before. The script for one of my first sort of aircraft history videos completed. I just need to film that, and then I still got that P-51 project. It's a PowerPoint, which is basically finished, which I want to turn into a 3 or 4 part series and get posted on YouTube. So with the winter also comes a lot more. We can't go outside as much. There's no air shows, so I'll have hopefully a bit more free time to get this stuff done. Time will tell. Hopefully I'll get this video up sometime this week. Yeah. So without further ado, I guess as a bonus, being October, there were the two? I can't even remember now. I believe it's 2 air shows worth of coins that I have to go over. Yes, 2. Sorry for that. 2 air shows that I have to go over. As well, I'm going to go over some other stuff today. I think I'm going to do the plane tags today. I got a new one of those, which is pretty cool. Anyways, so without further ado, let's get swung over to the desk, and we'll continue with this video. And as always, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. Okay guys, so we are back at the desk, and as I stated, things have been a little busy in my life, so I haven't had a lot of free time to get stuff done. I've got a little bit here. Surprisingly, most of it's in the past week or so. I've had a bit more free time in my life. I was able to sit down, get some work done on these models. So we'll start same order. I have everything on the shelf here from my left to my right. I'll go through that order again. So starting off with the MiG-21, as you can see, I do have the fuselage glued together. I glued the forward and aft halves together first, and then mounted the 2 sides. That gave me the cleanest seam, this vertical seam here, kept it as clean as possible. It went together okay. Obviously, you see the top, this entire section here, the tail at the back, and then there's a spine that covers it. So this entire seam across the top is pretty much covered at all times. There's a little seam here and the seam on the nose. Took just a little bit of filler. The bottom was a different story, however. You can probably see how much filler it took to get this filled. There was a pretty good step left to right, as well as a little bit fore and aft on this, plus the nose gear doors. The gear is going to be retracted on this, so the nose gear doors I put in and needed a little bit of filler to get those cleaned up a little bit. What seems to be okay. I got to put a coat of primer on this soon just to see what it looks like, but not too shabby. As well, back here the main gear doors are installed. The wings will be covering part of that, so I'm not too worried. The inside of the exhaust, let's see if you can get a good view in there. Painted up, there's silver on the inside, and then you can see the exhaust cone in there. It's painted a jet, or a burnt aluminum or jet exhaust, or one of the Alclad paints for that. The nose section, the spike has been painted green, and then the inside lip of the fuselage has been painted silver, so it's got a bit of a, hide a little bit. This aft piece here will be painted the same jet exhaust color, so you'll hide a lot of the issues here. And at the front, this is going to be a high polish, sort of a aluminum or chrome, which will be cleaned up and painted at the end after I paint the aluminum lacquer. So it's coming together. When I painted the nose cone green, obviously I painted and masked that first so that it's easier to mask that before assembly than after. And same with the tail. Both the green on the tail and the ventral strake have been painted green ahead of time. I'll mask the green off and then paint the aluminum at a later date. So as you can see with the fuselage, when you install, make it fit, there we go. When you install the tail, you can see how that covers the entire fuselage join, and then the same here with the forwards piece, middle of the fuselage will be covered by the hump. So the top seam isn't a big deal. Bottom seam, you're not going to see much. It'll be mounted on a base, so you'll hide the worst of it. But it's coming right along. It'd be nice to get some paint on that. Moving on to the, did I even glue these together yet? I did not. Moving on to the Wildcat. The cockpit is assembled, glued into the fuselage. Fuselage is put together. The next step is gluing the wings on. It's going to take a little bit of effort on this. This rear seam is just brutal, and as it is covered in raised rivets, it is going to be interesting. I might have to mask off a little bit and sacrifice one row of rivets just to make that seam look a little neater, because that, I'm sorry, that is not an acceptable gap. I don't know if this is just an earlier Tamiya molding or if I did something wrong, but that gap is brutal, so I got to clean that up a little bit. Like I said, I'm probably going to have to sacrifice a little bit of the detail in here just to get that to fit together. Otherwise, no real complaints on this. It's a nice little kit, detailed. You can see the tail here, just, it is keyed, so it only goes one way, which is nice. You can see that kind of clips into there, the rudder clips on, your engine, your engine fits on like that. Again, keyed, so that it only fits on one way. And then your cowling, again keyed, so it only fits on one way. And you can start to see it comes together. It's a nice little plane. So the kit isn't that bad. Needs a bit of sanding here and there. Some work on the seams, poking away at it. But it'll be nice when it is done. This is going to have, it's going to be mounted to a pole, but the landing gear is going to be down because it's just too much work to get their landing gear retracted on this. The central gear doors are one molded piece, so to cut them and get them all to work, the amount of sanding I'd have to do isn't worth it. So mounted on a post with the gear down. The Hurricane, the fuselage isn't glued together yet. I just have the engine and the cockpit glued into place, and I have the fuselage taped together just to hold everything in the right alignment. Don't normally put exposed engines on this, and this one is no different. I will have the cowlings in place, but you actually have to glue the exhausts to the engine. So I needed the engine block. As you can see, there's pieces missing. I just need the block in place in order to mount the exhaust stacks. But the cockpit is done. I'll see if I can get in here and you can get a good look at the cockpit. It's a nice little cockpit. There's a decal behind a photo etch for the instrument panel. Quite a bit of detail in there. It's a photo etch seatbelt and whatnot. So, for an artillery kit, it's not too shabby. I got this on one of those daily deals on Sprue Brothers, so I didn't pay much for it. So it's a nice little Hurricane. So that's coming along. Now for the bastard child of this build, the Classic Airframes Vampire. This is just not going my way. I mean, it's Classic Airframes, which I guess is expected with Classic Airframes. They're short run kits. It's basically like a garage kit, so it doesn't go together very well, and yeah, there's a few steps. So I mean, I got the cockpits all assembled and glued in. Cockpit is beautiful. You can't go wrong with a resin. I mean, that is just a spectacularly detailed cockpit. Unfortunately, you're not going to see any of it when I get the canopy glued on, but what can you do? Anyways, so you can see here there's quite a bit of stepping in the rear fuselage. The exhaust, I've already got paint peeling off the exhausts. I paint with Alclad. I'm going to have to touch it up. I mean, there's a small ring at the back. I'm probably going to mask off and paint redo the Alclad at the end. I should have just waited, but I was painting the MiG-21 exhaust and figured I'd get a step ahead, but now I'm a step behind. So what do you get? You can see all the misalignments, the short shots, you know, what can you do? The nose, the top of the nose went together okay. The bottom of another, you know, beast altogether. Putting the gear retracted, never designed for that. So the gear doors don't quite fit right. You can see the massive gap here filled with super glue at the moment. All the steps around this interior panel. I actually had to change the shape of the bulkhead for the exhaust to make it fit. You know, so it's going to take quite a bit. The next step here, I want to put some putty on it. You can see there's a massive gap. Any of these massive gaps right now are filled with super glue. So I'm going to put, you know, get some putty on this, get it sanded. You know, the detail I'm not too worried about, as this is also going to be mounted on a post. The top, I'll probably rescribe some of these lines to clean it up. Bottom, not going to worry much, as it's going to be mounted on a post, on a stand. We're not going to see much. I'm dreading what the wings and the rear booms are going to look like, but right now my focus is getting this fuselage looking clean, so you can get a feel for what this is going to look like. It's going to be, you know, once I get this cleaned up, it should look pretty nice. But anyways, coming right along. The good news is this pod initially in the rear plane was made out of plywood, so, you know, panel lines and what I'm not too worried about, because it wouldn't really have had much being plywood. You wouldn't have seen much plywood and dope, so losing panel lines, not terribly worried in the long run. So that is the current status of the models. So as I said, not much done. Hopefully I get more done next month. So at this point, I'm going to get everything ready and go through some of the coins and whatnot that I've received at the latest air shows. It's a pretty good haul this past air show, and I think all of these came from London. So I'm going to get set up here and we'll go through some of the coins from London. Stand by. Okay, coins from London. As I said, it was a really good haul. I'm going to start with two that I've been trying to get for a while and haven't really been able to get. The Snowbird coins. They are mostly, I've only ever seen them available through Canex. When you go to air shows and you see the display tent set up selling Snowbirds memorabilia or souvenirs, a lot of that stuff is, the Snowbirds don't sell them themselves. You buy stuff through the Snowbirds. I don't know through the Snowbirds themselves or whatever. It's always a third party selling the Snowbird stuff, the sweaters, you know, the inflatable little airplanes, all that stuff. That's all third party. The money goes to the Snowbirds, but they don't directly set up and sell stuff. So it's very hard to find Snowbirds coins. I've only ever seen them at the Canex, and I've tried ordering through Canex, and every time I've tried to order through Canex, I get an error saying that my address can't be delivered to, and I don't know why. Anyways, whatever the problem is, I finally managed to find it because Canex had a tent set up in London, and they had a whole bunch of coins, and I managed to find the Snowbirds coins. So I'm very happy. I'll start with those two. So I'll start with these. These are from London. I'm going to do the two Snowbirds coins. Then I'll do my Gatineau coins. And then I will do the London coins. So Snowbird 1, it's the basic. Let's zoom in here so you guys can see what you're looking at. It is the basic. I'm going to make a little mark so I know what is centered on my camera. There we go. So this is the basic unit coin, nothing too special. It's got the Snowbirds logo on one side with the motto, and on the other side is 431 Squadron crest. 431 Squadron has a long history through World War II up till today as the Snowbird unit. Using my handy dandy RCAF reference book, I can tell you that in World War II, 431 Squadron flew Wellingtons, Halifaxes, and Lancasters, and then got disbanded at the end of World War II and flew post-war years, 431 Squadron was not activated until it was reactivated as the Snowbird unit. So flew bombers in World War II and then got reactivated in the 1970s as the Snowbird unit. So it does have quite a bit of history with the Canadian Royal Canadian Air Force. That is your basic unit coin. Now, I want to call it their special coin, but I mean, in reality, it's just another one of the coins they sell. This is their, I want to call it the special coin. It's got the diamond, which is sort of their motto, their signature shape, with the current Snowbird font through the middle, the squadron crest, and on the back is the 9 ship. And there you go, 1971, when 431 Squadron got reactivated. So this is kind of like their flashy coin, whereas this is their generic squadron coin, right? So you can, either way, I'm glad I finally got the Snowbirds coins. I now have the Snowbird coins and the Red Arrow coins. I'm on the hunt for Thunderbirds and Blue Angels, but I'm not, I'll get those eventually. I'm not desperate for them at this point. Anyways, very glad I finally got the Snowbird coins, round out that collection. Moving on to the Gatineau show, Marc-Andre Wildcat, he's an author. He's written histories on different units. He's done 433, he's done 425, and he's done the base history for Bagotville, and I believe he's done the Griffin unit that's based at Saint Hubert, which is 43, no, that's Valcartier, Quebec City. I can't remember, I think it's 437 that's based in Saint Hubert. Either way, the Griffin Squadron in Saint Hubert, he's also done a squadron history book on. He's well connected in the RCAF, especially the Quebec squadrons. So recently, 425 Squadron took part in the NATO exercise in Romania, Operation Reassurance. I believe this was connected with the Russian aggression in the Ukraine. So the Canadians sent a squadron over there to bolster NATO's aircraft defenses in Eastern Europe. And so this is the 425 Squadron Operation Assurance coin. Apparently the last 5 coins that the squadron had, they gave to Marc-Andre Wildcat, and he was selling them at his tent in Gatineau, and he only had 2 left, and I bought one. So I don't know how many of these actually made it out into the general public, or whether they were only sort of internal and he was selling a few. So I don't know how common these are to see. I'm glad I managed to snag one when I saw it. This is kind of why you collect coins, because some of them could end up being a little on the rare side. So there you go, Operation Reassurance 425 Squadron Romanian deployment coin. And then sticking to the theme of CF-18s, first time I ever got one of these, although I really wish I had the 2017 coin after looking at it. Here is the 2019 CF-18 demo Hornet. This is the NORAD scheme. So yeah, very cool. I love the purple and gold. The aircraft itself really wasn't anything special this year. I definitely like the coin. So on the back it talks about it's got the NATO logo being the NATO anniversary scheme. But yeah, the front really kind of cool with the purple and the I don't know how you call it, the Northern Lights kind of theme you got going on here. Like I said, I really wish I had the 2017 coin, the Canada 150 coin. It's all black when everything's just red on the surface. I wish I had one. Anyways, long story short, Demo Hornet coin. Very glad I finally got one of these. They come up with a different one every year, and here we go. First year I managed to grab one. I'll keep my eye out in the future for those. Moving on to, I want to go these in a specific order because I got some really cool stuff this year with the, sorry, one more from Gatineau. The F-16 demo team, F-35 demo team had a tent set up at the Gatineau Airshow, and I got the demo team 2019 coin. I've got I've shown this guys to you before, the F-35 Heritage Flight Team from 2017, whereas this year actually has the F-35A Lightning Demo Team coin. So I mean, it's very similar in look, but this one says Heritage Flight, this one says Demo Team. although the backs still have the Heritage Flight logo, 2017, 2019. Either way, I now have the demo team coin, which I'll replace with the other coin. So now I've got the F22. Now that I say that, my friggin' F35 coin. Ah, there we go, jam it in there. I've got the F22 demo team, I've got the F35 demo team, and I've got the F16 demo team. London had the A10 demo team, and they had no coins. So unfortunately, I didn't get a demo team coin from the A10 team, but I got a couple of other cool things. So without further ado, I'm going to go through my London haul. It was a pretty good year for coins. Start off with a surprise visitor. Was not expecting these. The first helicopter squadron, U.S. Air Force first helicopter squadron, based out of Andrews Air Force Base in Washington, showed up with a Huey. Again, was not expecting these guys to show up. But this is their 50 years of service coin, special coin for the UH-1N. Got the bottle opener on the side. You guys gotta love the fact that the military guys have a bunch of bottle openers. So there you go. 1969 to 2019 special coin. Again, you know, they may have had a special unit coin, but being the 50th anniversary, you know, not too many of these are gonna be floating around. So it's glad I got one of these. Plus, I just love the look of these Hueys. Surprisingly, I asked him how many of them they have in service, because I was under the impression that all the original Hueys got retired. And apparently he said he can't tell me. They're not allowed to disclose how many they have, as it is a national security issue. But there you go. Hueys are still flying in the U.S. Air Force how many years later. Very cool addition. This coin, you know, really nothing special. It's the 71st Fighter Training Squadron. These are the guys, I believe it's Iron Men is the name of the unit. These are the guys that fly the T-38s. And the coin itself is really nothing special. Has the history of aircraft they flew, the P-35, P-38, P-43, P-80. In case you were in the Seversky P-35 was an early, it looks similar to the P-47. It's just slightly earlier. P-38 Lightning, the P-43 Lancer, I believe it was. The P-43, I also believe that's one of the Curtiss. I'm going to look that up to tell you the truth. I believe the P-43 was a variation of the Curtiss series. P-80 Shooting Star, F-86 Sabre, F-102, F-106, F-4E, F-15, and now the T-38. So like I said, just give me 2 seconds here. I want to say the P-43 is a version of the Republic P-43. I take that back. The P-43, it was a Lancer, I got that right, but it was also part of Republic. So there was an early version of what turned into the... so yeah, Seversky P-35 was an early design, then became Republic, and they designed the P-43, and the P-43 was turned into the P-47 Thunderbolt. So there you go, bit of history. Again, not a big fan of this coin, but it's a coin. What can you do? I think it was like $5, so I snagged one. Moving on, we have C5 Galaxy coin. These guys were great. Customs told them that they weren't allowed to sell stuff because of taxes. So I offered to donate $20 to his beer fund, and he accidentally left a coin on the seat. So I managed. Apparently he set up a tent on the Saturday anyway, so it didn't really matter, but this was the Friday. I was trying to get stuff early. So this is the C5 Galaxy based out of Travis Air Force Base in California. This is the maintenance unit coin. I don't know if they actually had, I didn't get a chance to get back. I don't know if they were selling a real coin or not, but this is a pretty cool coin. Glad I got that. B-52, look at this, B-52 coin. The 23rd Bomb Squadron. Again, they were selling a few things. The coin is nothing special. It's cool on the back. I mean, the logo, yeah, what can you do? It's still very sort of, you can tell it's a 1940s kind of design that was never really updated. It's not quite as flashy as other coins. I like the back, though. It's got the squadron logo, the skeleton, the bomber barons. Around the perimeter, though, it has all of the honors that the unit has. So Battle of Midway 42, Guadalcanal Aero-Gatineau 42, Northern Solomons Campaign 42, Leyte Golf 44, Luzon 45, Arclight 19. So now we're moving on to Vietnam with the B-52s, Arclight in 65, Cuban Missile Crisis 62, and then we move down to Desert Shield 90, Desert Storm 91, Desert Strike 96, Desert Fox 98, Allied Force 99, Kosovo 99, Operation Afghanistan Freedom 01, Desert, and then back to Desert Shield of 1990. And then, no, there's more on the inside. Look at that. Enduring Freedom 01, Anaconda 02, Desert Freedom 03, Iraqi Freedom 03, and Inherent Resolve 14, and Freedom Sentinel 15. And then they had their special... obviously, it hasn't been put the patch onto the coin yet, but I have their patch for an Operation Inherent Resolve in Syria in 2017. So that's something else that's got to be added to the coin. So, I mean, it's a pretty storied history, and the fact that they have all of them labeled on their coin is pretty cool. I don't know where they're going to fit the rest of them when they do more missions, but there you go, 23rd Bomb Squadron coin. I think I'm going to do this one next. This is the, I can't remember the name of the unit because this is the 180th Fighter Wing, the Ohio National Guard F-16 Stingers, based out of Toledo, Ohio. This is their maintenance shop coin. So the 180th Fighter Wing Engine Shop. Thrust you can trust, service, integrity, excellence, leadership. And then there's a wasp sort of flexing his muscles with the F-16 wings, and you can see sort of the engine in the back. So it's a cool play on the Stinger's name, but it's a cool logo. And the other side's just a fan of the engine. I like, this is what caught my eye. You know, that's kind of cool, but I'll probably have it on display with that engine facing out, and then I can show people what it is when they ask. Also from the Stingers is this. You don't see a lot of these. So of course it's the outline of the state of Ohio with the Stingers logo, Toledo across the top. This is sort of what they have on their tail. And then on the other side you've got the Ohio flag with the F-16 silhouette. So just cool. You don't see a lot of them like this with the, I like these weird shaped ones. This is, you know, different, kind of cool. So of course I grabbed one. Sticking to the theme of odd shaped coins, this is the coin from the, it doesn't fit in the screen, from the V22 unit, the, you know what, to tell you, oh, here we go, HMM, or to present is VMM 162. Started off as HMR 162, 51 to 60, HMM 162, 60,2006, and VMM 162 from 2006 to present, probably going from a maritime helicopter to a heavy lift helicopter to the vertical lift helicopter. So that's their squadron logo, and obviously you've got the bottle opener built into the top, and that is obviously the shape of a V22 vertical stab. So again, different shaped coin, makes it look interesting, look cool sitting in the collection of weird shaped coins that I have. The next one, nothing quite special, but this is the lead into what I think is the coolest thing I got. So this is the 79th Refueling Squadron KC-10s, based in Travis Air Force Base in California. This is the same unit that brought their, let's see if I can find it. This is the same unit that brought their KC-10s down last year. I think I got a coin from them from last year. So this is the 9th Air Refueling Squadron. This was the coin I got last year from the Travis-based KC-10s. And this is their California Cruisin', the Friday patch, 79th Air Refueling unit. So it looks like a poker chip. California Freestyle. It's got the KC-10 wearing the Hawaiian shirt, and then it says Cowabunga Dude on the bottom. So like I said, this was they had a Friday, this is a patch they would wear, their Friday patch, and they made a coin out of it. Again, nothing quite that special. It's just a flashy looking coin. But as I was at the table and I found this, I saw this other coin. I asked about it. They said they only had the one, and they were asking $30 some US or $30 US. So they kept it aside because they didn't want to get people, you know, they didn't want to have it out because it was so expensive. They didn't think anybody would be interested in it. I obviously was. I got to zoom out a little bit for this coin. Because look at this sucker. Look at this. It is a solid hunk of aluminum. Got the KC-10 tail, Travis written at the top. It's the 6th Air Refueling Squadron logo in the middle. I have no idea what that stands for. The military loves their acronyms. Just to give you an example, on the C5 coin, it's got some acronym out here. IYAC5MYAS. No idea what that means. Probably something military cool, but again, I don't know. I have no idea. I'll Google search it now because you never know what these people post. It's pretty interesting sometimes. NKAWTG. Let's see what they say. If this comes up with anything at all. There we go. So that stands. It's the boomer coin, the boom operator's coin. Nobody kicks ass without tanker gas. So there's what that stands for. Nobody kicks ass without tanker gas. So you look these things up. It always stands for something. Let's figure out what the C5 one stands for. MYAS. MYAS. Let's see if there's anything that comes up with that. My guess is probably not. Here we go. I did find something. Look at this. There is... Yeah, I don't know. It just says, and their favorite saying with that logo. So I'm not entirely sure. That was I just found an ad for a coin that was for sale. Another coin that included that, but I don't know what that saying stands for. Of course, Google is trying to figure out what I'm saying because this doesn't make any sense to Google. Yeah, I don't know. I think the C5 one is just going to have to be, it's one of those I'm just going to have to accept the fact that I don't quite know what it is trying to say. Move on and live my life. Anyways, moving on back to this. This is just cool. It's huge. It's heavy. Like it, you know what I mean? There's some oomph behind that. You drop a regular coin. You can hear this has got some weight to it. A big old beast. Not too sure what it means, but hey, what can you do? You can clear, it's just big. There's a lot of effort that went into this. There's a lot of hand grinding along the seams in here to clean everything up. So, come on. Clearly the belle of the ball, so they say. I don't even know where I'm going to put this or how I'm going to display it. It's too big for the base. Just looks cool. Coins. These are the coins I got. I got stickers and patches. Not going to do stickers and patches. I just got too many of them. And to tell you the truth, I've been collecting stickers and patches since I was a kid. I don't remember what half of them are for, where they came from, any of that stuff. But just because I bought them, I got new ones recently that I think are cool, and this video isn't very long. I'm going to throw in my next collectible items that I collect. Sorry for the long-winded story there. Plane tags. Plane tags, it's a place I'm going to find the information because it is a place down in California that makes they make furniture out of airplane parts. You want a table made out of a jet engine cowling or an ejection seat or any of that kind of stuff. These are the guys that do it. They buy old airplane parts. You could get walls. You can get a whole section of fuselage with the windows in it and turn it into a sliding door for your conference room at your office. These are the guys that do it. These are the guys that make furniture and bits and pieces out of old planes. And they got into the business of plane tags. And I'll show you them in a second. They are baggage tags, but they're made from the skin of a real plane. And in a lot of cases, the planes they happen to get are interesting or different or stuff that people would want to collect. So I have a few of ones that I've been personally interested in. I'm going to start with sort of a basic one. It is, see, you can clearly see what it is. It's a bag tag. It's got the spice on the back. This is how they're presented. This is my 747 plane tag. So this one was cut from the skin of a retired 747. It actually gives you the registration of what aircraft it was cut from. November 820 SA, which was a Southern Air 747-200 used in cargo. So you can actually see there's a picture of the actual aircraft after it was retired. They got a piece of the skin, don't know where it came from, and they punched out this strip, not strip, but this little tag was punched out of the skin. In the back, you can still see the like the zinc chromate primer that they used on the inside for corrosion, and then it gets engraved with this. You got a space to put your name, your address, your telephone number to actually use it as a bag tag. I'm just hanging them up because they look friggin' awesome. But you can see how thick the paint is, and there's imperfections, there's bubbles and stuff in the paint from when it was painted. But you know, it's a cool piece. It's an actual piece of a 747 that flew. And this is why I enjoy this, because how many people out there, other than the real collectors, the people like me, but you know, you get the odd person who's interested in it, but when you can walk up to someone and say, this is a piece of a real 747. I own a piece of a 747. There's not a lot of people who can say that, and that's why I'm a huge fan of this. You can go to Plane Tag. I'm not being paid for this. God, I wish I was being paid for this. This is just my own free advertising for Plane Tags. Planetags.com, motoart.com. If you have any interest in aviation, they're not cheap. These range anywhere from $39 US up to, like, there's a one cut from a B1 bomber. I don't have it. It's 140 some bucks US. I can't cut that kind of money right now. But you know, if you're interested, go and buy one. There are tons of planes. This is my 747 tag. Who owns a piece of a 747? I do. Moving on. Let's go with my other airliner one. This was cut from a 767, but not just any 767. This was cut from the Gimli glider. And for people who don't know what the Gimli glider is, it was an Air Canada 767 back in the 1970s. I'll throw a picture up here in a second of what the plane looked like after the incident. It was right after Canada switched to the metric system. And due to a screw up in fueling, I believe the fuel load was given, and it was given in liters. And he used that, no, it was the other way around. He gave it in gallons, and the plane was in liters. So, or he was giving it to it in pounds. He did the math into gallons, figured out it was supposed to be, you know, 300 gallons. Let's just say it's 1,000 gallons. Well, 1,000 gallons is almost 4,000 liters. But if you put 1,000 on the meter and the meter was metric, it only got a quarter of the fuel it needed. My numbers are off, but that's what happened. He got a load in pounds. He converted it into gallons. He set the meter on the plane or on the truck or however it was, and he pumped it in on the plane. He loaded it to a number on the plane. And it was different because he was thinking gallons and it was supposed to be liters. So the plane had nowhere near as much fuel as it needed. And over Western Canada, it ran out of fuel. And the pilot glided it down into Gimli, Manitoba, and landed it on the old Gimli Air Force Base, which at the time was being used as a drag strip. And here's the picture of the aircraft after it landed. The nose gear collapsed on landing, but everybody survived. And to this day, nobody has been able to recreate that. If you put them in the sim with the exact same situation, exact same altitude, speed, everything, nobody's been able to safely get this aircraft down. The pilot, being an ex-military pilot, ex-glider pilot, knew what he was doing, and he got the Gimli glider on the ground safely and saved everybody. That aircraft was recovered, put back into service, continued flying with Air Canada. It was a 767-200, and was recently retired. And I cannot believe, I'm very angry at this, it did not get into a museum. It went into the boneyard down in the States, down in the desert, and it got chopped up. And these guys managed to get a piece of it. This is how I first found out about it. Somebody had posted on one of the Facebook pages that you could buy a piece of the Gimli glider. I own a piece of the Gimli glider. And I found this, and I went onto the place, and I bought a plane tag. Because I actually bought one for me myself and one for my dad. Because, you know what I mean? How do you not say yes to owning a piece of the friggin' Gimli glider? Again, you can see the primer, just like the 747. Same color primer, probably the same store, same batch, same everything. Same color, more or less the same color white. But there you go. the Gimli friggin' glider. I own a piece. I'm going to be like that every time because I love the fact that I own these things. It's so cool. So sticking with my modern theme, because I'm going to stick modern, but I'm going to start moving into warbirds, or let's call it warbirds, because come on. Yeah, they're fucking warbirds these days. Sorry for my language. Friggin' warbirds. B-52. I own a piece of a B-52. They managed to get their hands on a flap section. Don't know whether it was the inner or the outer. I believe it was the outer flap. Got their hands on a flap section of B-52. Punched out a couple of these tags. They only made 3,500. If you again, let's go back. 747, 5,000. But how many 747s are out there that can be retired, that can be turned into bag tags? There's 5,000 of these. And who knows how many of the other tags that are around. Any 747 can be turned into a bag tag. Nothing special. Gimli glider, there's only one of them. And they made 10,000. This is number 1545 of 10,000. They made 10,000 of them, and that's it. There's only one Gimli glider. You can't just get another airplane and call it the Gimli glider. So there's only 10,000 of these. They only managed to get one or two pieces of the B-52. So they only made 3,500 of these B-52s. I got number 999 of 3,500. So this is, they don't know what the aircraft was. They don't know what aircraft it came from, with serial number, the registration. They know nothing. They only know it was a flap off of a B-52. So you can see this is the modern sort of gray paint the B-52 is painted off. On the inside, the old-fashioned zinc chromate anti-corrosion paint. But there you go, B-52 piece of B-52 wing skin. So it's a pretty cool piece to have. Again, I mean, they might be able to get their hands on some other ones, but for right now, there's only 3,500 of these out there, and I got one. So again, you know, it's pretty cool. It is what it is. So yeah, moving on. Now we're going to go back in time to the actual warbirds. First up, I'll go with this guy here because it's, you know, a little bit less cool than the other one. So this is a piece of a B-26 Marauder. Not the A-26 Invader, this is the Martin B-26 Marauder. So again, it has the registration on it for what aircraft it is, and I can pull up the actual history of this aircraft. There was a number of these that were being ferried across the over to the Pacific. So they were going up through Alaska and over to the theater over that way, and a number of them crashed. So this particular one took off, so it's aircraft 40-1370. It took off out of, well, here we go, it was assigned to the 73rd Bomb Squadron in Elmendorf, Alaska on August 16th of 1942. It took off, and it crashed and destroyed on landing at King Solomon Airfield near Naknek in Alaska. Two of them were killed in the crash. The aircraft was salvaged and transported to the Hill Air Force Base Museum and was stored outdoors pending restoration. I don't know whether it actually got restored or not, but either way, this was part of the skin. Whether it was used, my guess is during the restoration. Here we go, there's actually information on the restoration of it. It looks like during the restoration process, some of the old skins were taken off, and it still has, you can still see the original sort of faded paint, where some parts are a little more green versus a little gray, so there's a discoloration. So my guess is there's 3,500 of these, so while they were pulling off sections of the fuselage or the wing, or whatever they managed to get, they took a section of skin and started punching out some of these tags. So again, I own a piece of a B-26 Marauder. Again, who owns a piece of a B-26? I do. So these are pretty cool. B-26 is just being a warbird, and the B-26, it's a cool plane. I've always loved the look of the B-26, so it's kind of glad to get one of those. Next up, we have a B-25. So this aircraft was built, this tag was made from aircraft number 44-30090. And I've looked the history up of this one before. It was actually left derelict. So they're not sure when it was delivered. It was stored in Arizona at Davis Monthan Air Force Base. 57, 58. Went to Rockdale Flying Services, 58 to 83. Was stored uncovered in Rockdale, Texas, 60 to 83. Sold at auction in 83. Went to Aero-Trader in Chino, California, 83 to 2001. And then it sat outside basically in 2001. And then some components were used, the rear fuselage was used in the rebuild of aircraft 4328059, registration November 1943 Juliet, but other parts of it were still sitting derelict. So whether this was used from the rear fuselage when it was taken in to be restored with the other aircraft, or if this was cut from what was left of it sitting in Chino, I don't know where they got the pieces from, but it's a piece of a B-25. I'm a big fan of this one too, just because if you actually look, as they say, it's cut from a real plane. There's a bunch of corrosion on this. I'm going to zoom in here and you can actually see, look at this. There's all of this corrosion where the aluminum started flaking off, and they still punched a tag, including the corrosion. So it just shows you that, you know, this plane, it was a real plane. They didn't just cut it from a random piece of metal. This was cut from a 25 that clearly lived a life. So yeah, it's one of the reasons I like these. Every tag is different. You can buy 4 different B-25 tags and every one will look differently just because of the way they are designed. The paint looks black, so I'm not sure if you're looking at an interior panel. If this is the interior and this is the exterior, or where this would have been, but you know, B-25 skin. Not quite last, but I'm going to start with this now. This one actually holds a pretty special place in my heart right now. This was a B-17. This was 909. This is the B-17 that recently crashed in Connecticut, and the aircraft was a total loss. Still don't know what happened. It was in where the New England Air Museum is, Windsor Locks, Connecticut, Bradley International Airport. On landing, it don't know what happened. It ended up, it swung off the runway. It hit a de-icing tank. Total loss of the airframe. 7 people were killed, including the pilots. When they did some work on the aircraft a few years ago, they took off a piece of the wing skin to reskin the wing, and this was punched from it. So they made 3,200 of these. I got number 400. So I mean, it's just the fact that, you know, I didn't even realize this until I was down here the other day looking at these, and this was part of 909, and it was, like I said, it was recently lost. The plane's a complete loss. So, you know, to own a piece of this plane after what happened, you know, it's kind of a punch to the gut when you realize that kind of stuff. But anyways, it's a B-17. It's a wing skin. This is probably an original, excuse me, probably an original World War II wing skin, you know, put on in 1944. So it's pretty cool to have, you know, a bit of a sentimental value now, considering what happened. Finally, the reason why I decided to go over these today, I do have a new one. Again, there's not going to be too many of these. There's only 5,000. These are the only time these will be made. I bought 2. I'm giving one to my dad for his birthday. Hopefully he doesn't see this video before his birthday. B-36. The B-36 Peacemaker. So one of these ended up going to the Walter Soplata collection. I'll show you a picture of what his collection looked like. Here it is here. He managed to get the forward fuselage of a B-36. The collection, he's recently passed away, and the collection went up for auction. And the nose did not sell. It was very, very corroded, made of magnesium. It didn't last. So these guys stepped in, purchased a section of the nose, and punched out 5,000 of these tags. So again, you know, who owns a piece of a B-36? I do. I own a piece of a B-36. And just to kind of, what I was talking about before about how they're slightly different, if you look, they're actually different color green. This guy's a little darker than this guy. So it's probably an interior panel somewhere, you know, manufactured at different times, and there's just a slightly different color green. And then on the back, you can see this is the one I'm keeping for myself. It's got a stamp on it. I don't know what it would be stamped. There's the beginning of an O or a 0, and there's the edge of another letter over here. So I don't know what that would have been. Gives it just a little bit of character though. So this is the one I'm keeping for myself, number 70 of 5,000, and I'll give my dad number 59 of 5,000. As you can hear, it says the Soplata Collection Limited Edition. So they went in and bought a bunch of different pieces of different planes. This was the only aircraft they've announced so far that they're making tags of. I don't know what the other planes are going to be. But there you go. I own a piece of B-36. Serial number 4213571. and I can pull that up for you right now and give you a brief history of what that aircraft did. 13571. There was only a couple of these built. So it was an RB-36E, so constructed as a YB-36, one of the first ones. Flight test retained by Convair for purposes, and then it was converted to YB-36A, single main wheel converted to four-wheel bogies. The 6 engines were replaced by so a more powerful engine. So it took its first flight in as a YB-36A. So yeah, first flew in 1947, and then it was kept by Convair for flight tests. And then it was turned into went to 60th Bomber Squadron 72 Bombardment Wing, and then converted to RB-36E. It was equipped with the jet engines. It was usually the first to go through a bunch of modifications, being an early plane. And then it was delivered to the United States Air Force Museum in Dayton, Ohio. And then it sat outside for many years and was basically rotted away, effectively. Rotted away outside. And then it was scrapped in 1971, and that's when Walter Soplata bought what was left of it and moved it to Cleveland, Ohio. And it sat there for many years until recently turned into these bag tags. So it's pretty interesting that it is one of the first, which I didn't even realize was one of the first aircraft. But there you go. B-36 bag plane tags. So you've seen all my plane tags. So I'm going to start adding these to the future videos if I ever buy any more coins and plane tags. Keep you up to date. It's a pretty cool collection. As you can see, I collect knickknacks. But that's pretty much it. We're going to end it here. I got to go make bottles for the twins. My wife's going to kill me if I don't get those done soon. So there we go. Hopefully we'll get some more content up here soon. Even my Facebook page has been dead. I apologize to everyone for being a ghost for the past little while. But thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon with some more content.
Thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you are interested in any of the content you see, you can access my website at www.seans-aviation.com. You can see all the latest pictures of aircraft and museums and the build logs of all of my current models and past models on that site. And if you're interested in any of this content, please click the subscribe button here on YouTube to follow more. Thank you very much, and see you guys next time.